A caltrop is an area denial weapon designed to stop the enemy. The caltrop is a sturdy, simple, yet effective weapon no matter its position. Its purpose was originally designed to stop elephant and donkey attacks. It graduated to stopping tanks. And now, the caltrop is your defense against propaganda, polished lies, and manufactured outrage. It's free from counterfeit credibility and synthetic truth. However, inside the walls of the caltrop, you're going to be forced to think. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Mike Calderese is the caltrop.
All right, good evening and welcome to the Caltrop. I am your host, Michael Calderese. It's been an awesome week, way better weeks than I have been having. Honestly, this has been, listen, it's coming off of a shit couple of weeks. And what I see is terrible, but you know me, I'm going to try to be happy. It's a Friday night. We're going to have a lot of fun. And boy, do we have a great show for you tonight. If you ask me, we're going to see how it turns out. But right now we have, I want to bring you the first of what I hope to be, many Friday night debate nights. Okay, and it's gonna, I guess, evolve as we go across this. But tonight we have, obviously, we're gonna go over the topic, and the mic's right. I'm gonna have my co-host Mike Hall come on. Mike Hall is chomping at the bit to kind of come at me a little bit. We've been, if you've seen it, we've been debating a little bit on Facebook. One of the things I love about him is he wants to speak his mind and he doesn't give a shit. And I love it. And we need different thoughts. And then we have my man Giuseppe Grillo. Giuseppe has been on the show before. Giuseppe was one of the leaders of the Asbury Park. If I'm saying this correctly, the No Kings protest, Asbury Park. He came on to discuss it in a very good way last time. So we had him on again this time. I am very excited for this show. So let's not even messing around. Let's get to it. Mike's right. Shut the fuck up and listen. All right. Have you ever noticed in politics and in the public now, it seems like nobody has principles anymore? It seems like they just have moods. It's like the whole country is one big moody teenager slamming the door and blasting emo music. And it's like, principles? Nah, principles are boring. Emotions, outrage, hashtags, and cancel mobs. Now, that's the new Bill of Rights, right? So take the left, for example. Let's start there. Pre-COVID, these people were hardcore anti-pharma. They hated Big Pharma more than they hated Chick-fil-A on Sundays. They were like, don't you dare put chemicals in your body. Organic kale only for me, please. Vaccines are dangerous, man. Then all of a sudden, COVID hits, and suddenly the same people are Pfizer's sales reps. They went from Monsanto was poisoning your body to shut up, take the jab, or you can't come to Thanksgiving. You had yoga instructors in tie-dye screaming at you like used car salesmen. 2 shots, 1 booster, and you get a free Biden bumper sticker if you act now. And then you had the My Body, My Choice people. It's like, yeah, they've been screaming that for 50 years. But as soon as a vaccine mandate shows up, poof, it's your body, our choice. It's funny how that works, right? It's funny how all of these parties always switch, no matter what, and it's all according to emotion. And meanwhile, the same people, these Democrats, they banned everything. Words, logos, mascots. They banned the Redskins, Chief Wahoo, Aunt Jemima, and Uncle Ben. Basically every character who's ever smiled at you in a grocery store shelf. By the way, I fucking miss my aunt. They got kids expelled for TikToks. They got people fired for tweets. Comedians canceled for telling jokes. They got one poor kid lambasted on national news. Why? For having the audacity to smirk while a maniac was standing there beating a drum in his face. And they even tried to cancel a child dressed as a chief at a Chiefs game. It's like, I'm sorry, Karen, that's not cultural appropriation. That's called buying a ticket to a football game. That's just called being a fan. But then, fast forward, 2025, this Charlie Kirk situation happens. And suddenly, magically, the left cares about free speech. Oh, no, you can't cancel him, man. He's just speaking truth to power. Free speech. Wait a second. So screaming fuck Charlie Kirk is noble resistance now? But saying biological women have vaginas is somehow bigoted hate speech? Got it. This is where we're at. But this is where it gets good. Because the right somehow has magically become the left that I just described for the last 5 minutes. For years, conservatives screamed about Facebook shadow banning, about bakeries being sued for not making rainbow cakes, about cancel culture destroying their lives and taking their pages. They were warriors of free speech back then. And now, suddenly they're the ones calling businesses, sending emails, and demanding and celebrating when people get fired. Cancel him, fire him, make sure he never works again, scumbag. This is what you get. Oh, but don't worry, it's not cancel culture. No, that's right. It's just a business decision. Just like when they kicked you off of Facebook, right? It was just community guidelines. It wasn't back then, was it? That wasn't just a business back then. See, what's happening for some reason isn't about principles. It's about emotions. It's about, I hate you so bad that my principles somehow don't even matter. Conservatives used to chant, free speech is free speech. Now they sound like HR managers. Well, technically, free speech doesn't apply in the workplace. Oh, really? Is that what you were saying 5 years ago? That's the line now, though? 5 years ago, you were ready to storm the Capitol over a Facebook ban. Now you're quoting corporate policy manuals. It's an amazing flip. By the way, you know how I feel about storming the Capitol. I was there January 6th. That's bullshit. But anyway. And look, I get the idea of fighting fire with fire. Sure, the left 100% needs a taste of their own sour medicine. But if the medicine that you're going to be feeding them back is cyanide, why are you both chugging the damn bottle? That's what it seems like you're doing. Because at some point, fighting fire with fire just means we're all running around with third-degree burns. And the cycle just continues to keep spinning. They're attacking us. We're under siege. Both sides say it. The left says if you're gay, Christians are hunting you with torches and they want to take your rights. If you're black, whites are plotting in secret meetings wearing hats. White supremacy is the biggest thing facing us. If you're poor, the rich are eating babies in their mansions. And you should take all their money and give it to you. Meanwhile, the right says if you're white, you're under attack. If you're Christian, you're under attack. If you're American, you're under attack. Everybody thinks the other side has some type of extermination plan. At this point, if you're alive and breathing, apparently somebody wants you gone. So who's right when both sides feel attacked? The truth, in my opinion, nobody. Christians aren't coming to lynch gays. I got news for you guys, okay? Stop it. And the left isn't full of serial killer snipers hiding behind pronouns. But everyone is locked into this hate cycle. And hate becomes the new religion. We used to have Democrats and Republicans. Now we have two cults competing for who could scream louder and cancel faster. And where does this monkey shit fight end? Is it war? Not actual war like North versus South war. We can't have that again. This isn't going to be fought with weapons. No, this is an ideological war, which will turn to fighting with weapons. But one side is chanting emotions over principles, and the other side is chanting principles over emotions. And both sides are chucking Molotov cocktails made of hypocrisy. And you know how it ends? Nobody wins. Nobody gets eliminated. You just get years of chaos, destruction, and another cycle of hate until people forget about what they were even mad about. I mean, we have fought as a country for 20 years against an ideology. And what do we have to show for it? New York City is about to flip Muslim. So when people ask me, which side do you want to win? I say, That'd be a really easy choice if both sides didn't suck, but both sides do suck. They suck almost equally, and that's the problem. We only survive if both sides exist. But if both sides exist, it also guarantees that chaos never stops. It's like having divorced parents who both hate each other, but you're stuck at the dinner table because dad can't afford 2 houses and mom's a drunk. So congratulations, America. We're the kids in this fucking weirdo custody battle. And if we don't chill, if we don't stop letting emotions nuke our principles, we're just going to keep building the new religion of hate. And like every religion, it lands the exact same way and it leads to the same exact place. It's typically war, destruction, and a bunch of people pretending they're religious while everybody else burns. That's the Mike's Right. Hope you listened. All right, so I'm going off today. I'm not going off. I'm just bullshitting. But the truth of the matter is, I'm seeing a lot of problems. I'm seeing a lot of very interesting, very troubling situations that are going on here, and it seems like we're in some really weird rinse and repeat cycle. Definitely. Let's go to Mike's socials and get screen lift. Nice. I'm reading your comments in the back, but before further ado, let's bring in my man, Fresh Mike. What's going on, bud? How's your Friday going so far?
Oh yeah, good monologue. Good monologue.
Thank you, bud. So
it's Friday, y'all.
Where am I wrong with all this stuff, my man? Because I know we've been going back and forth a little bit on Facebook. I think you're in a little bit more of an attack mode than I am. So I mean, dude, floor's yours. Fire.
I'm not in attack mode. Not in attack mode. I'm in defense mode, man. I'm in defense mode. I'm unfortunately living in a world where people want to end my life for what I think, for going to church, for having beliefs they disagree with, for genuinely wanting to talk to them and being right, and their inability to explain to me why their way is better, their inability to even really know what they're talking about most of the time. The ignorance, the moral superiority, and the violence and the hatred that is fueled by that side has changed how I get to live now. No, I wouldn't prefer that, but that's just what it is, dog. You know what I'm saying?
Why are you, if you don't mind me asking, bro, why are you reacting like this? Because the way I look at it is I don't view all these leftists as people trying to kill me. If you look at it, my area, I don't see that as a danger to me. Now, if this show gets bigger, is that going to change? Like you have Steven Crowder, I'm listening to him on his show a little bit. I try not to listen to him, but you hear him talking about, I see some clips about legal violence. You see all this stuff, and he's on Piers Morgan going off, and it sounds like he's at war. And I'm trying to figure out, like, why do I?
They're trying to kill him, right? Wait. They're trying to kill him. They've shot at him and they've
I get it, but who's
wife
they though? But who's they?
Leftists. The people that you're afraid to admit are doing the leftists. Angry.
I'm not afraid to admit anybody's doing anything. I said it was leftists to begin with.
Antifa leftists, okay, are doing this. They're the ones that, murdered a dude in cold blood because he was a Trumper, and somehow not considered political violence, doesn't count because they've lied. Because we live in a world where they can constantly, and it's the constant barrage. That's what you've got to stop. And I'm sorry. I am truly, truly sorry that we don't get to live in the good world we should have. The bad people took it away from us. Now we don't get all our toys, okay? One of those toys is being able to go on TV every night, even when Joe Biden is president and clearly failing, and still talk shit about Trump, lie about his followers. You have the president of the United States with armed Marines and red lights like freaking Nazi level, and he goes, MAGA Republicans are the problem in America. That's not scary. That's not scary at all when you have the president on a red carpet with armed Marines behind him screaming, MAGA Republicans must be stopped at all costs. Wow. Well, what's a MAGA Republican to you? You never explained that. Just somebody who voted for Trump? Because there's a lot of people who do not like Trump who voted for him, but you don't let them exist. In your world, we're the bad guys. Whatever you do to hurt us is good, and none of the laws apply to you. So now, instead of being the British redcoats, right, where we march because we're good, loyal soldiers, and we have white fucking pants on and red coats and big, bright, feathery hats, and we walk through the dirt roads of America with our guns, you know what I mean? And what are they doing? They're taking the Native American approach. They're hiding in the bushes, funk, with arrows. Yes, you have superior firepower, but I have superior what? Tactics.
So,
yes,
Michael,
you have superior law. Yes, you have superior you have superior law, superior society, but what do I have to beat you? Superior tactics. So when you say I'm going to go to a college campus and shout about and say free speech and give anyone who wants to talk to me an opportunity to with a microphone, when you get to say we get to kill you, and now we're dancing about it and singing about how great it was, we murdered a man for speaking. Then you take a man who encouraged death of people who didn't want to take a vaccine, a man who's done blackface multiple times, a man who loves to lie as he did and then refused to apologize for lying again. Because here's the problem. It's the Overton window, right? Has been shifted so fucking far that just saying anything other than the fealty they demand. They murder you, then demand fealty. And there are certain people like, I don't want to make them mad. Hey, both sides, we got to calm it down. And they kill you. And they will continue to kill you. And they will continue to break the laws. And then we go, well, we've got to be like the good old redcoats. And they're shooting at us from the bushes and from the rooftops. If you don't believe me, ask Charlie Kirk. Ask Donald Trump. Ask Corey Comparator's fucking 4 kids. Ask him, are they shooting it
Corey
up?
Corey was caught in something else, though, Mike. I mean, but listen, this is the part that
Corey was caught in an assassination attempt by far leftists.
Yeah, but he was. It wasn't like he was. It wasn't like he was. He was the one that he was the target. He was a missed shot and he got hit. That's fucking. It's absolutely terrible. I'm not trying to put it down.
Why though,
but here's the
Mike?
hold,
why?
Why? Listen, stop for a second. Why? It's because a fucking maniac.
Because
and we don't even know if it was a
Donald
stop,
Trump.
Mike. Don't talk over me, bro. Don't talk over me. I let you go. It's because a maniac who we don't even know the details about, we don't know who it was. It could have been the FBI, the CIA, or anybody. How that kid got up there and took the shot in the first place. We don't know that was 100% left-wing violence. We know nothing about that kid. So the bottom line is,
manifesto he said it was. He was a transgender person who hated Trump. In his manifesto.
A manifesto. We knew nothing about him. He had 9 cell phones. We couldn't get into all of them. His parent. We know nothing about this kid. There's no manifesto. I don't believe any of that shit, Mike. The bottom line is this, and this is what my problem is. I don't run into Antifas. I don't run into Antifas, Mike. I don't think that everybody on the left is this shooter. I don't think that everybody on the left.
I didn't say everybody was. I didn't say that. Just like in Nazi Germany, there are a lot of people who will turn their head, go on Facebook and go, violence is horrible, but
does that mean it's going to lead to
but
why do I want to be afraid of these
people? So there
are
millions of people like that who will turn their head as the Jews get marched on the trains by the brown shirts. The brown shirts are the Antifa fucks that are killing us. Then there are people that support
killing
these
us.
folks.
Who's
and
us, bro?
Yes, they are. You're
Who's
ignoring
us?
it. That's the frustrating part.
I'm not
First of
ignoring
all,
anything.
I tell you they're killing us, and I give you proof. You're like, I don't believe any of that. Okay, dude.
No,
cool.
Who is us?
But
I'm not a part of us. I'm a regular guy. Name regular dudes that are dying from political violence from the left.
When I say us, I didn't mean to blatantly. Okay, when I say us,
but that's my point.
People...
It's the gross generalizations of the like I spoke about last week. It's the we's. It's these people. I don't believe that if there was millions of radical ass leftists that wanted Republicans dead, I believe there'd be a lot more people like me. If there was regular people like me and you that were being just gunned down for our beliefs from random ass crazy roaming Antifas, I'd agree with you. But in my town, I don't look at
They
the
are,
danger
just
is not the
because-
left.
Just because you go can't see it, I'm hiding. Look, I'm hiding. Michael
I'm not
Calderis, I'm
hiding.
hiding.
The danger
I'm
to me is
hiding.
the right in my town. I don't know about
The
you. I'm
point
not
is
hiding
I'm
from
not
shit.
hiding.
I'm talking about when do I ever have an Antifa roll up in my town of Bricktown, New Jersey? That
Okay,
is on the
they have to-
lowest of any of the fucking things that I'm scared of in my life.
Okay, and that's fair. And just like the Civil War wasn't all over. When you think about the actual Civil War that happened, you understand it was in different towns and different battles, right? Right? It wasn't like in everybody's front yard, in everybody's street. There were towns that were barely touched by the Civil War. It wasn't on the roads. It wasn't on the routes. It wasn't a strategic town to take over. So there were people just like you were like, I got a good life, got a good family, got a good community, not my problem, while your brothers in arms are getting murdered a few miles away.
I'm not going to let you mischaracterize what I'm saying like that. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is it does not help to characterize an entire group of people as maniacs trying to kill me.
I didn't do that.
I think that is obvious. That's basically what everybody is doing here. When we say the far left thinks one way against these people, when it's group versus group, that's what it is. If I'm supposed to be scared of these Roman gangs of Antifa, and because I don't believe that that's a threat to me, that means I'm not doing anything. I totally disagree with that. No, I do not think that is a danger to the regular person.
Telling your embattled brother who's like, you know what, man? And this is what makes me so angry is you don't give a fuck that I have told you multiple times how mine and my wife's life and the children in her school, all of our lives have been threatened daily, regularly, attacked, horrible lies said about me, multiple police stations all across the country.
Is that all left-wing violence?
Is that all left-wing,
Mike?
Can I finish? Yes, all because I supported Trump. All because of me and Pro show that you were a guest on. All because of that. All because of that. Okay? All because Antifa and trans people. And I was like, I don't hate anybody. Doesn't fucking matter. I did not bow the knee. I had a choice, and that was to disavow or shut my show down, or they were going to come after me. And they still haven't stopped. And the fact that that matters not to you because you've got a grander point. So the human being you're looking at whose life is actually under threat by these people, who suffers from the thing you're saying isn't happening, and because it doesn't happen to you personally, even though another human you know personally, it is actually legitimately happening to, it just doesn't matter because it's not happening to you.
No, again,
So how many people have to die? And how many people...
Again, Mike, you were trying to mischaracterize what I'm saying again. The fact of the matter is, I'm not discounting that it's happening to you. What I'm saying is it's not all of the left that is coming after you. It is select maniacs. And yes, is it true? Is it true that some of the left-wing ideology is spurring them on? I will never discount that. But if you're going to sit there and tell me that you are an absolute target of the far left, I can't back that up. I get it that you're a target of some maniac, crazy people, and so have I. What are you talking about? I've had weird, crazy fucking hate mail sent to my house. I've had death threats. I don't take that and mean, oh my God, everybody on the left or everybody in Antifa is coming at my life.
Every single live stream, because I watch your live streams and I know this is not true. Every single live stream you do, every day, your telephone, they fake numbers of your friends and call you falsely by fake numbers. They put your mother's address and phone number out there and said, go see his mother and hurt his mother.
I've had people taking pictures of my son and posting it out there. Yeah, I've had shit done to it. Does that mean that that guy represents everybody on the left? That's the point here. That's the dangerous point here.
I'm going to help you.
I'm going to doesn't represent everybody on the left.
I'm going to help you. We're going to get along and I'm going to help you. Not everybody. Okay, you feel better now? Not everybody. That's a little
What percentage do you think it is, though?
Can we move on and have a real conversation?
This is the thing.
Or are you just going to stop everything I have to say? Ignore everything.
We're trying to have a regular conversation.
Not everybody.
What percentage of the left do you really think are going to be attacking you in a physical way? Because I want to get to a real point here. Because the point is you have Steven Crowder and all these assholes that are trying to paint the left as got to go to fucking war, or that are coming after and we're going to war. And they're trying to make the right, the people that are emotional, go to war with them and act like everybody on the left is attacking them. And then that's going to create everybody on the left thinking everybody's on the right's coming after them. And it's a ridiculous fucking situation. So I'm trying to get to a realistic number
for years.
To where it's
for
like, what percentage
they have
do you
been saying
think?
War. For 10 years, they've been saying war. Please don't allow
Who?
you not knowing
What
things
percentage
to
is
be
they?
the reason you believe what you
percentage
believe.
is they?
For
Is it
10
30%? Is it
years
20%?
since Trump went
10?
down that escalator, they've been calling us Nazis and fascists and screaming war. The word war, literally. They've been saying it. George Floyd riots. They've been screaming war forever. There is a point where enough is enough. You know what I'm saying? And that's the point. You're like, well, no, enough isn't enough for me yet. And I'm telling you, brother, I'm just here before you. I got here before
Stop
you.
telling me what I'm saying. I'm saying very clearly what I am saying. I'm trying to figure out.
I don't hear
is
you
it
saying
10%
enough
of
is
the
enough.
left? Is it 10% of the left that is coming out to try to kill me? Is it 30% of the left that's coming out to try to kill me? Is it 40? What is
You're
the
asking
percentage
the wrong
I'm supposed
question.
to be afraid of? No, I'm not. I'm asking the very right question. Because the bottom
No,
line
you're
is we
asking
have
the
to
wrong
have realistic
question.
expectations. It's probably
Let me tell you the question
0.1%
you
of that
should
group of
be
people that
asking.
want to do this.
Let me tell
What
you the
is it?
question you should be asking.
What's that?
What percentage of the left will turn their head, turn a blind eye, or actually go on social media and support the percentage of the left that will hurt me? What percentage of the left, what percentage of the proud blue left-wing party will not only ignore my murder, brag about having no sympathy for my murder, but use my murder as a battle cry to encourage other people on the left to murder other people, even if they don't lift a finger themselves? What percentage of the left, will celebrate a man's murder and then get upset over a 57-year-old multimillionaire who had shit ratings losing his job, right?
What percentage
it's
of
like,
it? I'm asking for the answer.
What percentage? Well, that's the question.
I know,
Because
that's the question. That's why I'm asking it.
The thing I'm seeing is the vast majority. What I'm seeing is the late night talk show hosts and the general zeitgeist of the left and what they're trying to push in the CNNs and mainstreams, just like Donnell, what's his name, going, it was a love story. He wasn't motivated by anything but a love story. And then the other guy going, it was so touching, the texts he sent admitting to the murder. I mean, it's disgusting. You know what I mean? They sure didn't do that for any MAGA folk. Now, you've got to understand it wouldn't be such a big deal if media was even. But media is not even. So how many people in power? Another great question to ask would be, much like a bunch of Democrats in power now, how many people in Democratic power would encourage their voters to dance on your grave, to talk smack about your family, to continue to hurt people who followed you and believed the same things you believed, man? Those are the people I'm worried about, because the actual people who are going to actually commit the violence is a tiny percentage. Just like in, the Bolshevik Revolution. The actual people who are going to actually cause the harm were a small percentage in the world, period. So why not everybody goes to war? The people that will encourage them, feed them, fund them, support them, cover for them, turn a blind eye to them, encourage them.
Yeah.
Let them
do
the horrible
things
people,
bro.
Like a guy posted, like the guy during the BLM riots who posted, I don't think George Floyd is a hero and he should not be celebrated. Then 30 people came to his house and burned it down. And when he called the police and said, help, they said, sir, the city is under attack. What would you have us do? And then another man, when they were going door to door, house to house, destroying stuff, brandished his gun and said, don't come here, put a gun in his window. The cops came and arrested him, even though there were mobs burning down houses on his street. They arrested him. Martial law. And I'm telling you, that's where we're headed. Unless we wake up and go, we have to deal with the ugliness. Saying turn the temperature down so it becomes martial law and they arrest you for trying to defend your home while you watch it burn.
Going to war? What do you think going to war is going to do? You think going to war is going to result not in martial law? Do you think going to war is going to result in anything positive? No. And acting like everybody on that side's one way.
Then they shouldn't be calling for war. Then they shouldn't be calling for war and behaving once again, like a military.
I have such Antifa, a problem with.
What do you know about Antifa, bro? How much have you studied Antifa?
Don't give a fuck about Antifa. I don't care. They are a bunch of paid fucking protesters that get paid to go out and raise a bunch of havoc.
Okay,
that's all I believe Antifa is.
They're pretty good at killing people. They're pretty good at assassinations, as we can see. They're pretty good at getting on rooftops
now
and shooting
Antifa
people.
killed Charlie Kirk. Antifa killed. Is that the
Antifa
lead
aligned
that we're making?
people. Dude, the dude who killed Charlie Kirk had Antifa right. I forgot.
We know
Any evidence
nothing
I give
about
you,
that
you're
guy.
just going to say I don't believe the evidence.
We know nothing about that guy. I don't believe shit yet. I don't. No, I don't believe anything about this kid yet. I will not go off on a tangent about who this kid is and the reasons why he killed anybody right now with what we have. Absolutely not.
Okay. His text messages, his private
it doesn't
DMs,
matter. There's no timestamps.
what he wrote on the bullets, what he
on those
told
text
his
messages?
friends,
No.
what he told his family, what he told his friends. None of
How
it
do you
matters.
know that's the truth? How do you know that's the truth? How do you know they're telling you the truth?
You don't know anything, but you know what? You can't ever debate the fact that you want to try to have any kind of debate. And when anybody brings facts, you're like, I don't believe your facts. Well, then
that's not
no
a fact, Mike. That's
bro.
not a fact. You
no
can't
facts,
sit here and tell me. Hold on.
Case.
You have been screaming that the government with me has been lying to us for how long? Now all of a sudden the government comes in, and the same government that just lied about me to Epstein. Hold on.
I didn't say they've been lying. I said they've been calling for war.
You said Biden lied to us. How many times has the government ever told us the truth?
I didn't say Biden lied. I said Biden.
They didn't even tell us the truth when they came in.
Lie. And Biden did lie when he said the vax was safe and effective, and you will not get COVID if you take it. That was a lie, right,
Michael, they lied to us. The first thing that they lied to us about was Epstein. And now all of a sudden I'm supposed to take this, they're all their word for it, when there's a lot about this story that really doesn't make sense. No, I'm not going to talk factually. Like, I have all the facts that they just were handed to me. Why do you keep talking over me, bro?
Sorry.
Stop talking over me. They have not given me all the facts ever. So no, I'm not taking this as 100% certified absolute fact. I can't do that. But listen, we've had my guy waiting in the back, so let's bring in Giuseppe. This is Giuseppe. Giuseppe
hey guys.
is our leftist. He's been listening in the back for this. I guess. Are you our? So you're not our leftist.
You're kind of our leftist
Democrat
too now,
Party.
But yeah.
So do me a favor, Giuseppe. Just give us.
I mean, after hearing this,
who are you?
I think you're the leftist, Mike.
Me, right? This is what happens when I come out speaking.
You are such a leftist, bro.
Leftist.
You are so left aligning right now, and it's okay. I get it, dude. You're Democrating it, but
it's funny because anytime I say something like this, the right turns me into something and the left turns me into something. When I say both sides are the same exact fucking rotten coin, they are exact same fucking thing. They're the same exact people. So Giuseppe, tell us about tell us where you come from.
So I come from Freehold, New Jersey. I lived in Asbury Park for about 20 years. I was active in Monmouth County politics, and actually just moved back to Freehold. And always
and you
trying
ran
to get involved
you ran
in the
the Asbury Park
and all that kind of stuff.
You ran the Asbury Park. You ran the Asbury Park. No Kings protest, right? That's how we met each other.
Yeah. Yep. I organized that with a couple other volunteers. Yep. We weren't paid, unfortunately. We didn't get that Soros money. It didn't come to us.
So
I got a call.
You guys weren't paid there. So you called me. You sent me a text message on Wednesday and said, "Send me the link to the show. I want to come on and argue with you." So you have the floor, man. Did I say that? Give me your quick skinny. Oh yeah, you 100% said send me the show link right now. I want to come on and rip you up a little bit. So
I have to. Well, it sounds like you guys are ripping each other up pretty well.
That's good. That's what we need to do.
I'm actually getting messages saying they're worried about our friendship. I'm like, no, this is me and Mike. This is what we do, man. So
listen, come on.
He's wrong,
I hear you.
But it's okay.
What's
sad is that he's wrong on the level of, here's the thing. If he's right and I'm wrong, I just look like an asshole, right? If he's wrong and I'm right,
that's why you look like
no. He's going to be in a world.
No, I'm not. Listen,
I'm sure there's many other ways.
If I'm right, you will be. If I'm correct,
I'm sure there's.
If I'm right,
there's many other ways that we could all look like assholes. So, I mean, look. The thing that really got me about this past week is how siloed everybody is in. Like, folks are just so locked into their algorithm, and usually it's on a good day, you're locked into your algorithm, and you know what you're going to get. You know what's going to come on your feed. But when something like this happens, forget it. It's like that algorithm is in overdrive, and I just think that. Talking to my friends who are, Republicans, talking to my friends who are more to the right, and then talking to my friends who are Democrats that are more to the left of Democrats, it's incredible to see like what they think the truth is, right? And none of it is really, not that it's not the truth, but it's so skewed because that's what's going to keep their eyeballs on the screen, And, Mike and I had this conversation. I had it with another friend of mine too, who's a big Trump supporter. And he's like, it would be great if we could just unplug from social media. I mean, I know that means your podcast would be gone, but if we could unplug from social media en masse, right, for 6 months and just clear our heads and have like face-to-face conversations with people,
we'd all be Republican.
I mean, I was a Republican. I grew up being a Republican. But here's the thing. Here's
what I would say. You know what? I'm sorry. I don't mean modern. I would say conservative. Republican is wrong because that's kind of grunge.
Well, so this is where I agree. I agree with Mike. Yeah, this is where I agree with Mike. I do think when you look at the actual political parties, right? The Republican Party, the Democratic Party, on the national level, especially, I mean, they're all taking corporate dollars. One's not any better than the other. So these, both MAGA and, let's say the Bernie bros, they were a reaction to the elites. What I try to tell people is that this left versus right thing is bullshit. That's meant to just like for us to just keep fighting with each other and killing each other, right? It's really about populism and the elites. I mean, and we were saying today over the phone, Mike, like who would have ever thought that 20 years ago that Dick Cheney, right, who was hailed as just this incredible strategist, a Republican mind, fighting, global war against terror, and he gets booed. You mentioned him at a MAGA rally, and he gets booed. Who would have ever thought that? And it's the same thing.
I would have thought it back in the day.
On the left side too. I would say, you look at the folks that are super more active in the Democratic Party, and they can't stand Chuck Schumer. They can't stand Nancy Pelosi. They're not going to beat them up, but I just feel like the fringes have kind of taken over a bit, and we haven't even realized it because we're so locked into our algorithm.
Well, let me get you to weigh in on our conversation before. And I really want you to answer a question because there's something to what Mike was saying that is very, 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 very right. Okay. The left seems to me like their platform is full of hate, and it's full of hatred of the right. And when I talk about that, I put them in their groups, every one of your groups. And when you say the left is bullshit or whatever, I mean, left is kind of socialism, communism, right is who knows. It's very interesting how these things, they say fascism, but that doesn't even make any sense a lot of the times.
Well, that's super far right. That's like the Fuenteses of the world, right?
But listen, so when you go left, right, so like when you look at all of your groups, you have your LBGT, they have somebody that they hate. When you have your poor people, like I said, they have someone that they hate. And your politics and the politics from the politicians. Now, when I say left, I mean the Democrat Party, okay? Or how you like to say Democratic Party. I don't like using that many words.
That's the name of it. But that's part of the problem.
I get it.
That's part of the problem.
It's not, right? So, but the question is, the party, especially amongst Trump, has been the party of hate. You guys have marched on the Hitler train. Trump is Hitler. We're Nazis. I'm an insurrectionist. I'm this. And do you think that rhetoric, number one, has caused the people that would be motivated to shoot, give Mike death threats or shoot Charlie Kirk? And when answer that, and then I want you to answer the question: do you think that the left, or like someone like you, do you want to see someone like Charlie Kirk dead? Do you want to see me dead? Do you want to see Mike dead?
Well, I think the answer to the latter question. Look, what happened to Charlie Kirk was, it's to say it's inexcusable isn't even, it isn't even, doesn't even plumb the depths of it, right? We all saw somebody that a media personality, essentially, regardless of what you think of them, a media personality. Sit on a stool and get shot in the neck in front of cameras all over the place. And to me, that's like a shock. That is such a shock to the system. Now we can argue also about what the intentions of the shooter was, if he even was the shooter, right? I think when you get into the boring policy discussions, which is something that I kind of swim in, I don't see that that it's something of hate. I think you're looking at folks that want equal rights, that feel like their voting rights are getting taken away from them in certain parts of the country. I think there were folks, and we can always argue pro-choice versus pro-life. There are people that are saying that their reproductive rights are getting taken away, and it's always incremental, right? It's not like the tanks are going to come in and round everybody up, So I get why there is so much virulent pushback towards MAGA and towards Trump. I think the thing that I always say is it's never 100%. It's never 100%. Like there's things that Trump has done that I abhor. And then there are things that I'm like, oh, well, I'm glad somebody finally did it.
But Giuseppe, don't you think when you say MAGA, one quick, I want to let you jump in, Mike. Seriously, then I'll let you guys go. I just want to get this out.
Right.
When you say MAGA, because it's going to help both of us. When you say MAGA and you say Trump, what I see a lot of the times, and I think this is what Mike alludes to when he was coming at me before about the hate. I think you guys have made an idea of what MAGA is in your head. MAGA's not trying to come for your gay rights. MAGA's not coming for your womb. MAGA's trying to preserve the bodies and the lives. They're for life. It is like when you look at what you think and what you say MAGA is, I think you have formulated a hate for MAGA. And this is why I say there's an absolute hate culture of it. Because when people say MAGA or they see the red hat, they hate it, and it gets a visceral hatred reaction, emotional reaction, just people seeing a red hat. And that's a lot of people on the left, right? So I think you guys have to have some culpability for that, because that is part of your politics, has been to hate, especially Trump, but all the Nazis who follow Hitler, right?
So it's interesting, because if you took MAGA out of what you're saying, right, and you replace it with, I don't know, the Democratic Party or progressives or whatever buzzword you use this week, right? This is almost the exact same conversation that folks are having on the left, almost exact. And so, what does that mean? Again, it goes back to how siloed we all are. I mean, it's incredible. It's astounding, right? Like my 75-year-old Italian mom, like she knows when she gets on her Instagram, she's going to see, posts from, her little town in Italy and a whole bunch of recipes, right? And it's just constant. And so imagine that folks that are just consuming all this content that is completely biased one way or the other and meant to keep your eyes on the screen, right?
Especially
so
outrage one side has a hate motive, right?
It's not but here's the thing. That's what you're saying right now. I'm telling you that there's folks that are progressives and liberals and Democrats that think the same thing about MAGA.
Mike, but
exact
that's my
wording.
point. Mike,
exact wording.
Do you think, and then I want you to fire away, Mike, Giuseppe, do you think the left is evil? Because I really think the left thinks the right's evil. Do you think the left is evil, Mike?
Are you talking to me?
I'm talking to Mike.
Not at all. In that, man, I believe it. What's funny is I just did this the other day just to do it again. I did one of those, where do you fall on the political spectrum? I'm always center left, bro. Always. MAGA hat, ready to go.
But here's the thing:
if you put me in like an isolation box outside of news and social media, and you go, hey man, regardless of who's president or who likes you or who doesn't, how do you feel about these issues in your country? I'm center left, bro. Go figure. Right. That's how far the window has been shifted. I think most people who agree with me on the left side are all evil.
What I see, that's interesting you say that. And the reason why I say that is because, well, hold on one second, because what I see is, again, let's take, and you saw this in 2016. You saw folks that were raging against the machine, in that case, Hillary Clinton, right? And Bernie the Bernie Bros, and they were
I lost a rather
loudest.
lucrative.
What
Just
was
so you
that?
know, I lost. I was working on it. I had a production contract with Fox, and I was producing a television show. I was actually going to write and star in a comedian. My background is stand-up comedian and actor,
Right.
and writer mainly. Anyway, and I lost it because I wouldn't endorse Hillary Clinton. Not even I was anti-Trump at the time. I just wouldn't endorse Hillary Clinton. They were done. They were like done.
Yeah.
A producer's wife saw me on Facebook going, "Hillary is evil, in my opinion," right? And then boom, no more work for me.
And look, that to me goes. I go back to the point of I think a lot of Bernie voters had more in common with Trump voters than with Hillary voters, and you could see that because
Bernie should have won. Bernie got screwed, bro. Just so you know.
It goes back to the whole thing of populism versus the elites, right? I mean, I think the Bushes and the Clintons are more like similar than the Clintons and Bernie Sanders by a mile.
Bushes and Clintons work together.
Right,
Bushes and Clintons work together to get cocaine brought in so they can get all the money for law enforcement. Dude, if we're going to go conspiracy, dog, look, I'm that dude.
No,
I don't disagree. I don't disagree with you there. And it's not a conspiracy. I didn't mean it like that. I mean, if we're going to go deep dive into this stuff and go, look, the Bushes basically brought the Clintons in to do it. You know what I mean? It was a whole thing, man. It was,
Wasn't it great? Like, wasn't it great back in the good old days when we could just blame everything on the Freemasons?
They blame
White hate the more. You know what I'm saying?
So what I'm saying is, whatever our definition of left versus right is, I want to put context on it that I personally believe that is a fake kind of binary conflict that is good for ratings. It's good for the shareholders of Fox News and MSNBC and Meta and all the social media companies. And the real issue, and you see this in other countries because this is a global phenomenon, right? Steve Bannon did a fantastic job after Trump got elected, going to countries all over the world to try to organize the right wing in all these different countries. But you see it everywhere where it's populism, and you have the far left and the far right actually forming political coalitions together because they have more in common with themselves than with the centrists in their own party. So yeah, I totally believe that you took that test. I always take that test and always says I'm a libertarian. So I don't know what that means.
And that's I've always I tell everybody, remember, there are no racists as there are no political parties when the levees break. Right. Our homes are flooding, and I need you. You need, you know what I mean? You need my sandbags and I need your boat. We are brothers. It's simple. You know what I mean?
And that's
we
the
have
key,
families
man. I mean,
to
the one
protect,
thing about
we got to work together as men,
We can talk about Sandy. Yeah.
There's a left and a right, though. And I'll tell you why it exists. Right. Because the politicians have created it. The politicians have made it this way. Yep. Right? When I say this is a both sides issue and people come at me like this, is because I really believe that the left and the right, that's the politics that's being played. They're bipolar. They're polar opposites. They can everything, no matter what it is, pro-life, pro-choice,
and it always skews.
It's always that way.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but it always skews to the most wedge issues that are just like you just can't. Because of the politicians. There's always going to be certain things. But I mean, man, can't we go
media
back to the
though?
days
You're leaving out media.
Well, the media,
that's what I'm saying.
The politicians. So shouldn't they?
We can't have this conversation without
for this.
For every night for the past 10 years, every single late night talk show, every single CNN, every single Wall Street Journal, every single New York Times, every single MSNBC, every single thing. It was hating Trump and saying things blatantly not true. They've had
negative coverage. He has 97% negative coverage. 100%. Yeah.
They've had to print more retractions over Donald Trump than anything else in the history, the storied history of the WSJ. True story. These are things people don't know because it just doesn't come out. You know what I mean? It's like, they've had to print all these retractions, and then they go, they can't do this. They can't keep lying, and then having to print retractions or us suing them, and then them going sorry or paying us or settling out of court. We've got to stop this from happening. And then it's an attack on our free speech. We're going to shoot more of you. When? Stop it.
So yeah,
Stop
I mean,
it. Here's the thing. Do I agree? Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, looking at the look, you're always gonna find examples online of some crazy like college kid or rapper or somebody who has nothing to do with like mainstream political stuff, right? That are going to go and say crazy shit. And you see it again. I know we don't want to say both sides, but you see it on both sides. But what I saw when in different fashions, right? I mean, we could try and find like similar examples, and we could do that. But what I saw from two stories. What I saw from the Democrats was a fairly united front saying that political violence is unacceptable, that this was a tragedy, and period, full stop. Now, you had some people that also said, hey, this guy, I found what he was saying and what he was spewing out and what he was doing with talking points in terms of the PAC that he was doing and all that was against everything that I stood for. And I found him to be a horrible person. But that being said, that doesn't mean you go and shoot the guy. I mean, that was across the board. When you're talking about mainstream Democrats, Barack Obama. Well,
that was not
shake your head,
mainstream.
But Barack Obama. You're talking about all
AOC mainstream.
They all said it.
Ilhan Omar, are they mainstream? Because
when I say by mainstream, I'm saying not like the blue-haired college kid who doesn't.
Well, I mean,
Giuseppe, no disrespect.
I'm talking about the politicians.
Hold on, Giuseppe. When they want to have a moment of silence for Charlie Kirk, you had somebody screaming about a moment of silence for somebody else, and they refused to do it, and they were screaming over the top. It wasn't just one of them; it was many. It was many of them.
But that shows
when you have Ilhan Omar going out there saying he deserved it, when you have AOC getting up in Congress right now, ripping into Charlie Kirk, talking about how horrible he was on the floor of Congress,
well, Mike,
trying to right the ship of the wrongs. That type of stuff is trash, right? Can we agree on that?
It's trash. Of course it is. Of course it's trash. Like you can't, I always look at, we live in Central Jersey, right? I mean, in Bricktown, right? It's all Democrats on the council,
and it's 73% Republican.
I know, right? It's like, so that's the kind of thing that I love seeing. Same thing with Marlboro Township, where I live in Monmouth County. I live close to Marlboro Township. They've got a Democratic mayor who's been there for 20 years in a town that voted for Donald Trump by 70%. Same thing in Howell Township. They had a Democratic mayor who got elected the same year that Trump got elected in 2016, and then got reelected in 2020. And
some Joe Biden votes there.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. And why did they get reelected? Because
COVID votes.
The briefcases. No, that was in Georgia, not in Howell. But what I'm saying,
my former partner has hard proof. They created districts out of thin air. They created districts with zero registered voters that got thousands of registered votes that were counted.
In Howell?
Then the district disappeared in Georgia. Yes, we've shown proof. I probably showed proof 10 times of this. So
I'm talking about your garden variety Democrats that I deal with on a regular basis that are just trying to get the garbage picked up on time. They care more about the potholes than all this other junk that's going on nationally.
That's where
the rubber meets the road.
Yeah, and that's, to me, that's where I think mine and your divide is, Mike. I see this. I see locally that I have more issues locally than I do nationwide, right? I don't see the nationwide politics coming to my front door. I see the local politics. And I told you this earlier, like the people that are really going to be fighting back against me the most are the ones that voted Republican. They just happen to be from a specific group that's overbuilding. There's people in my area that I'm worried about, and they're not far leftist. They're more right wing. So
and here's the thing. And you know what?
In
Rick, so the rich Republicans that are going against you, Mike, it's because of overdevelopment. And the same thing is happening in Asbury Park in terms of the folks, the brown and black community in Asbury Park that's lived there for generations, and now they're getting pushed out by gentrification. It's literally the same thing, just different names. So
the gays took over Asbury Park, right? So
what's that?
Mike, I said the gays took over Asbury Park.
Yes.
I bet it's a lovely neighborhood then. I bet the brunch in that neighborhood is off the chain.
They made
it so much nicer, for being honest.
When I first moved to Asbury Park in 2005, and I started getting involved a little bit, I lived on Cookman Avenue, right in the downtown, and it was all shuttered, all boarded up. There was nothing there. except for a couple of bars. And I would go to the bars and talk to the patrons, and they were all LGBTQ, and they would call me a breeder. I was a breeder. That was the nickname for me. It was like, oh,
For
you're a
straight,
breeder.
they're
It's like,
breeders.
well,
Yeah.
they're right.
But
You know?
if we
But
can
what did
jump
I
back on
do?
topic just for a second. Yeah, local is so different. Hey, I live in a very red state. Everybody is red. Most of our fights are against corrupt red politicians. If we want to get into the local, absolutely, man. And it goes to show how little this something we didn't get to do, Giuseppe, but you were like, there's some things I absolutely abhor that Trump has done. And I wanted to ask you, maybe name a couple of them, because I bet we would agree. Like, there are things he has done I completely disagree with or am disappointed in that he has done.
Yeah,
True story.
Absolutely.
And I think that's
Look,
regular. You could love, I'm sure there were people that were all in for Barack that same. You know what I mean? They love some of the stuff he did. But I mean, come on, Trump. You promised us on day one Epstein files. You promised us on day one. Now, I didn't think day one. I thought day one would be a ceasefire and then they would do it. But one of the main reasons this time around I voted for Trump, because I'm such a flaming fascist, is to end the wars. I don't know if you remember the Democrats in the 60s and 70s play some of the records. The whole thing was no foreign war. And now that was something that they didn't care about. No, we got to send more money and kill more people overseas. I was like, no. Now I'm voting for Trump because I'm so anti-war, and I think the war is atrocious and really bad for all of the world nowadays, because it affects all of our money, and it affects families for generations, and it creates your cell terrorist groups and all of that shit. So I vote for this man.
It does.
I think
we've radicalized more folks in the Middle East than
when I'm
any
speaking of Russia, Ukraine,
piece of
too.
propaganda.
I'm speaking of Russia, Ukraine, too. Yeah. And it's just one of those ceasefire. I don't care who's right or wrong. Stop shooting each other. Let's start there.
Well, listen,
right?
Trump had a really good answer to this question because he was pressed on it. And he said, listen, I stopped a number of wars that have been going on 35 years in the Congo and all this other stuff. He goes, he stopped wars that he thought were going to be much harder. He goes, I really thought, because of my relationships with Zelensky and with Putin, that I'd be able to end this much faster. And he said it's way more difficult to finish up than I thought it would be. Yeah. I like when he gives that type of honest answer, because he said, listen, I really thought that I would be able to fucking do this. And you know what? It proved way harder than I thought. I'm still working on it. We're working really hard. We made more progress than anybody. Yeah. But I mean, I do like that answer out of him. That's something I didn't like. Again, I didn't like a lot of the things that I've been plenty critical of Trump, but I think overall he's doing a really good job. But that's not really the argument. The argument here is let's try to like land this plane a little bit, because right now I am honestly trying to show that, and I love that we got a little bit local with this, because I really do think when you get locally, people that are labeled left or labeled right locally, the labels kind of go out. So my Democrat mayor runs harder away from the Democrat Party locally than you could ever possibly imagine, right? She doesn't act like a Democrat mayor, and neither do the council people. But what everyone feels attacked. I think that we have an agreement. Mike is pissed, and I get it, and emotional, because a lot of things happen. We watched the guy die. Everyone's hopped up. Everyone's a little emotional. Mike feels like he's getting attacked, and he is. Right? I mean, he's living it right now with death threats. The left thinks they're getting attacked, and they are. Obviously, high-end right people are getting attacked. And I will say one thing. It seems like high-end right-profiled people get attacked way more than anybody high-end on the left. It doesn't seem like the left has to travel to security. They're not getting milkshakes thrown at them that are filled with concrete. Doesn't seem like that's happening. But at some point, we have to come up with why do we think this is happening, and what are the solutions to it? And what do you think? Yeah. How do you think the left's going to react, and how do you think the right's going to react? Let's start with solutions. Mike, what do you think? What do you think are solutions to any of this?
Until the left blatantly and vehemently calls out and admits to their part in it, we're screwed. It's that simple. We have to arm up continually, because like I said before, it's not the people doing the violence I worry about, because if everyone in their inner circle shamed them and shunned them instead of making them heroes and bragged about how they may not support them, but what are you going to do? Oops, another Republican shot dead, another kid in the church shot dead. Prayer doesn't work. What are you going to do? Oops. you know, and well, I don't support it and it's bad, but darn it, if they wouldn't be in churches or voting for Trump, it wouldn't happen to them. Word for word been said. Word for word been said. If we don't vote for Trump or we wouldn't go to churches, we wouldn't have to worry about being shot. Literally, Destiny has said,
Who said
that.
it?
Hassan
Who said
has said that.
Destiny said that.
Destiny.
Who's that?
100%. Destiny's gone around saying some ridiculous stuff. Yeah, ridiculous stuff.
Destiny is so large, you understand, and that's the thing, Giuseppe.
Okay.
We're older, right? No offense, but I think you're probably closer to our age, which is over 30, over 35, I'm assuming.
49.
Okay, so we're older. What you don't understand, what we're missing, what we keep missing is that the older or the younger generation, this is why CNN doesn't even get 500,000 viewers. They used to get 10 million a night. They don't even get 500,000 anymore. And in the key
cable
demo,
news is going to die. I mean, cable news will
well,
die
and
in
late
the next
night.
decade.
Well, and the late night talk show model has died because why would you do that? Because you would wait to see your favorite band. Well, now I have YouTube. I don't wait. I just watch my
You don't have
favorite
to
band.
wait.
And most everybody you like has a podcast or was on a podcast last week. So why would you wait for them to be on this one show and commercials? It's a dying art form. Jimmy Kimmel was the lowest of all of them, literally ratings-wise. He was losing the most money, but we don't talk about that. But once again, let me just wrap up. The solution is admitting the truth, which is until this stops being condoned, until the party of the people. Now, if it's happening on the right, same. Let me say, what's good for the goose is good for the gander here in this scenario. But until the people, until trans people shame trans shooters and say, we are not accepting you as part of our trans community because you do not represent us and you are not one of us. Until Antifa, who actually has military drills that they do, and you can go on. And if you haven't read, their key book is Saul Alinsky's Rules for Radicals. I will take you places you have no idea. And it talks about being a lone wolf. And if you read about Saul Alinsky's Rules for Radicals and what he says and how he says to be a lone wolf, it is literally the playbook. Now, could it be the FBI taking that and creating the playbook of the guy? Possibly, man. I don't know. But I'm telling you, if I was like that dude and I was confused and angry and felt like these guys were fascists, that lone wolf playbook of Saul Alinsky's Rules for Radicals is how they have followed it to a T. I've heard no one talking about this, almost like a side they don't want us to know the playbook. So
but who's that?
Huh?
Antifa?
I've heard no one talking about it. I've heard no one talking about it. When I say they, I mean all media, all news, all of our basic education, all social media. I've not seen Saul Alinsky's Rules for Radicals on the Trump situation or this one mentioned once when he literally explains down to like the type of guns to use. Like literally that, like, you know what I'm saying, man? And I'm just saying also something interesting. Charlie Kirk and George Floyd, I didn't realize this. Shout out Patterson, the homie. October 14th, same birthday.
Crazy.
So anyway,
So
holy crap.
until the innermost group calls out and shames the people because they do it for acceptance, they do it for love, right? They do it to be part of a group and to be an exemplary part of a group. That's why they're risking their life. That's why they're being killed. That's why they're killing others. And until the group that they're looking for acceptance from says, no, this is not how you get acceptance. You don't get to do this and watch Jimmy Kimmel go on TV and basically say, these idiots and this guy was MAGA while we laugh that we falsely blamed MAGA. Ha ha. What a great anti-tool that you would use. Until those people shame the people, it won't help. It doesn't matter if I shame an Antifa guy who wants to kill someone. There's no effect there. But if a trans Antifa person goes, no, this is not how we do it to another trans Antifa person, then we make real headway.
So that takes care of 0.556% of all shooters, especially mass shooters. Are you saying that the white cisgender male shooters should do the same thing?
Well, we're talking about shooters.
Good for the goose is good for the gander, and
Is it political violence shooters though? What are we talking about when you say that, Giuseppe?
Well, I mean, it's all kinds, right? So you're talking about. Look, I could just go through, the El Paso Walmart shooter, the attack at the home of Nancy Pelosi, the attack on the Minnesota lawmakers, the shooting at the
no, now you're lying.
Now you're
lying. Hold on.
Tree of Life.
You better no propaganda here, bro.
No, but wait, hold on. I mean, I could go back
But you have to be.
You don't have to go back because you're lying.
But Pelosi's guy was not a right wing guy. He had in his little van, he had the pride flag, and he was not a right wing guy. They were standing in their underwear. At all. He was more like a lover.
Right. I know that. I know that's what you know. What you're.
No, that's true.
That's the fact. That's the facts of the case. He was not a right winger.
He lived in a commune. He never voted Republican. That was a lie put out by your side because once again, feel better about the violence. Just like this machine, you're like, the mass Democrats.
Again, so here's the thing. Instead of making excuses for these different things, why don't we just come to an agreement that, like you said, Mike, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. So personally, I sat and wrote down a couple of things that I think need to happen. But you guys got
to own your shit first.
We all need to make sacrifices.
You got to own your shit first. This is the problem with all of you.
Let them go. Let them go, and then we'll go back and forth.
More so than some imaginary big group called the left saying these things. I think parents need to take more responsibility for raising their kids. I think that it always starts in the home, and you got to check yourself sometimes. If you see, look, my daughter just moved to, transferred to a new school. I check in on her all the time, make sure, hey, how's it going? Like, what's going on? I don't know what the parenting style is of this shooter. From what the reports come out, it looks like, they don't know the motive. They know that this guy was heavily into video gaming and all these, catchphrases that he had on the bullets were from like Helldivers 2 and all these other things. He's also into the furry subculture and online role playing. I think, guys,
that's leftist shit.
Is it really?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear. Did you mention the Antifa? Did you mention the Antifa song he had?
I think
Scrolled on bullets. Did you? I didn't hear the word Antifa come out of your mouth, but he had specific Antifa things on the bullets. I forgot about that. Did you want to mention the whole thing?
Which one?
The Antifa. The Antifa songs and catch fascists,
right.
So
which is a classic term.
Right, but again, Mike,
when they are going to kill someone.
If you looked in the video game culture, you would see where that was coming from.
No, but video game culture comes from somewhere.
It's something that I don't know.
I know about it. And the code was for nuke all. I know the nuke all code.
Hold on. Let's not get bogged down.
So
hold on. Let's not get bogged down in the weeds. Video game culture comes from somewhere. And that culture is from political culture. So when you say fascist catch, that's not from a video game. That's from a political term. And that political term got put into that video game to have some type of ridiculous culture effect. Right? Let's not say it's video game culture. It really
no. And listen, the last thing I'm going to do is blame video games for something. But what we can deduce from that is that this kid had some serious issues. Not even a kid. He's 22 years old. Right? It's not like he was planning this huge, assassination attempt over the span of weeks. It seemed like, he didn't like, he didn't like Trump, but it didn't seem like, it just didn't seem like something like, I don't think he was a leftist. I don't think he was an ist.
And I'm glad, I'm glad you said that. Give me a second. I don't mean to interrupt, but I'm glad you said that because you're correct. He lived in a culture. This is the problem. I'm so glad you said that. No, he didn't plan it for weeks. He lived in a violent, hateful, murderous culture that constantly, daily, on video game culture, Hassan, the people who get far more views from young ones than young folks, than any news source that you watch, right? The Twitters, okay? He lived in a culture where it's always okay to murder certain people. It would be a better world if they were gone. Just like that little video I believe Mike showed a couple of days ago, the two little girls, I think we showed it. And it was, hey, what's the best thing that could happen? The mom says, and the two baby girls go, Trump is dead. And they're like, and then she goes, what's the second best thing? And they go, the vice president is dead. And what's the third best? Elon Musk is dead.
And who is that?
Because you create.
Because we live in a country. We live in a country with 350. We live in a country with 350
but I'm saying, but let me finish. I know what I know you're going to give me. There are a lot of people. So, however, she felt good enough to put it on her TikTok, which means it's part of culture. Now, once again, I'm coming at culture. I'm not coming at any
Right.
leftists. I'm coming at the culture you created where you live in an environment where children can scream, Trump is dead, and that's the best thing that could happen. And you put it on TikTok and your socials, and you're proud
Who is
of
you?
teaching your children to think
who is
like
you?
that.
The one
Democrats at large,
individual mom.
Greater Democratic,
who
the
did that.
greater voting Democratic block of people.
No, disagree.
So-
I'm sorry. I gotta disagree.
Go ahead,
I
Giuseppe.
have
problem
to
is-
disagree with
Go
you.
ahead,
you live-
go ahead,
okay.
Giuseppe.
And
You
I'll
know what?
give
You
the
can
best
disagree with the
example.
numbers,
Mike,
but let me
Mike,
just make
for
my
every-
point, because
Mike,
that's what you guys do.
Mike,
You don't let me make my
hold
point.
on one
My
second.
point
Hold
is
on one second.
he lived in an
I mean, you're
internet
filibustering.
culture.
Hold on.
And in
Hold
this
on.
he lived in an internet. Let me say one
Sure.
sentence, I'll be done. He lived in an
Mhm.
internet culture where hatred, violence, and killing Republicans or conservatives who said words he didn't like was constant and consistent and encouraged. So when he wants to do something and make a pop, he does something that is talked about 24/7 on
But
the
it's
internet
also
by
but
the
here's the
people
thing.
that he listens to that are what? Influencers. What do influencers do? They influence. And if they're screaming violence against people, I'll leave
I don't
it
know.
there.
I'd like
Go
to
ahead,
see
Giuseppe.
these influencers because I see it. That's also where
Say
folks
no
get
more.
radicalized. No, say a lot more because the alt-right
No. I'm going to pull them up for you.
alt-right
I'm going to
has
give you all
has
the
that same
influencers you need.
influence in video game culture. The whole point is that if we don't do more in terms of investing in mental health resources, if we don't do more about making sure that guns, not that we take away guns or do anything even close to that, but that there are stiff penalties if somebody misuses a gun, and that a background check isn't going to be the end of the world. Everybody needs to sacrifice a little bit if we really are going to, and it's going to be a multi-level
No.
solution.
I don't have to sacrifice.
fix that.
I don't have to sacrifice my gun rights, bro. Had it taken my
It's
gun
not
rights,
sacrificing your gun rights.
It
to
is.
keep your gun safe.
shall
and away from
not
other
be
people.
shall not be infringed is sacrificing my gun rights. Because the
Right,
only
so-
thing that
so-
you guys want,
but
anytime the
your
left gets
gun-
into
but-
doing this,
but Mike,
they want to come after
your-
my
Mike,
rights.
Mike, your guns, right? Your guns. So
Are the
what
problem.
that means is that you're the proprietor of those guns. What we see a lot are kids that are taking guns that were given as gifts, like this guy, or they go and they raid their parents' closet and get their guns there. And
But
I'm
that's
sorry,
not the
but what are
majority
you
of the
doing?
gun
Keeping it-
shootings.
Well, I'm not saying the majority. I'm saying there are significant,
But how does
proof of that.
taking
But what
mine-
I'm
how
saying
does
is that
stopping me?
don't you think that just in terms of safety, because the biggest demographic in terms of gun violence is suicide. So I remember back in the 90s, they were talking about smart gun technology, where literally it's for the palm, like your palm is the only one that can activate the gun. Of course, it's not going to be 100% effective. The reason why, who derailed any kind of research or anything to do with smart gun technology? We should have had it already since the early 2000s.
No.
You know who derailed it? The NRA.
Good, they should have.
And to me, that's safety. I don't know what.
But
my kid is gonna do.
how's that safety?
If someone's having a
by
mental
my
health
palm
crisis,
print, how is it
What?
safe? How are you more safe by my palm print going to some federal database or my palm print being the only thing that could fire that gun? I don't see how that works, because you know what's
you
going to
do
happen.
it.
There's
You
going to
you
be
do
a,
it.
there's
You
going to
do
be
it
a
every
hack
day on
through
your
it.
phone. You do it every day on your phone.
There's
There's facial recognition everywhere.
But that is not the point.
database.
You're not answering my question. How does that make you more safe by putting any rules on me? It doesn't. Half the shooters got these guns illegally. Number one, and if you think that these people can't disable
that's a big
bullshit
big
palm
point
lock,
too.
but you're telling me that they could do everything else, but they can't disable a palm lock? Of course they can.
No,
Anything
what I
that
could
happens
do is
gun wise, coming
Right.
after my rights isn't going to help anybody. It's not going to stop any shootings.
Well, and what worries me about that is you understand it's like drugs, right? We have really serious illegal drug laws. There's still a ton of drugs coming into this country.
Tons.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I probably could go
We had a
outside.
war on it.
I live in the Midwest, no cool hip town, and I could probably go downtown and get any drug I chose. Period.
Sure.
So
Well, I mean, the war
I
on drugs. I
worry
think
that-
the war on drugs. I'm
that
sure we could all
illegal
agree has
making
failed
guns
completely,
completely illegal takes the
Nope.
regulation out of it.
No,
you know
Making
what's
guns
we're not talking about
illegal or
making guns
taking
illegal.
banning guns.
I think there could be some common sense legislation passed bump stock bans. You're talking about better background checks.
And why are we even talking
no,
about
no,
guns?
no,
Because you're
none of them stop
sideswiping, Giuseppe.
Charlie
Come
Kirk.
on, bro.
It's not.
Hold on, though.
We're the only country where this happens.
No, we're not.
No,
that is
we
absolutely
are.
100%
To
not
this
true.
to this level. I mean,
Yes,
to this level.
there are countries with way more gun
It
violence.
happens.
Brazil.
It happens.
Brazil.
What's that?
Brazil has more gun violence than America.
You want to
By
be like
far.
Brazil? You want to go live in a
Also,
favela?
over half of our gun violence is caused, Giuseppe, over half of our gun violence.
You want to go
is
live in a
done by
favela
who?
in Brazil? I mean,
There's
what I'm
also
saying is
lovely
like,
places
So
in
when
Brazil,
when
by
people
the way.
say that,
we can figure this
Don't do
out.
that racist liberal
No,
thing.
no, no,
where
I'm
you
not.
think
What
that
I'm saying is,
America's
what I'm
terrible,
saying is,
but
like, why is this the issue?
No, I don't want to live in a
Well, I mean,
favela.
here's the thing. I'll
I
ask
live
you
in
this.
America
Why is
with my
this?
gun.
Hold on. Why is this the only issue, right? Where everyone always just throws their hands up and says, "There's nothing we can do about it. Sorry, we just got to feed the tree of liberty."
no, if there
There's
was
nothing
something
we
to
can
do
do about
about it, Giuseppe, if there
So what
was
do you think we
something
should
that
do
would
about
do,
it?
if
About
there
gun
was
violence?
something we could do that would
Right.
actually make something like Charlie Kirk's shooter. So when we talk about mental health, he didn't have a mental health problem. This guy had he had no violent history whatsoever. He came out of nowhere.
Right.
Okay, so what are you going to do to screen and stop that guy? Because he would apply for a gun and get it legally in any single state, in anywhere that has tough gun laws. Because he doesn't have a crazy mental history background, unless you want to start banning people that have trans girlfriends.
Right.
So nothing's going to stop that guy. There's no common sense gun law or common
No,
sense
not
legislation
that
that's going
guy,
to stop that.
but not that guy, but maybe the shooter that shot up the school the same day that Charlie Kirk died. You know, we don't know. We don't know because
what about the trans shooters
what
up the school a week before?
What law is
like you
going to
guys
do
said,
that?
we need to change the culture in terms of
Okay, so
instead of
Giuseppe, are
cutting
you
fa-
saying trans
instead-
people should have guns? Giuseppe, are you telling me that we should ban trans people from having guns?
Instead of no, because most shooters are white straight males.
Most trans
So
people are
keep
on
them away from them.
SSRIs, right?
That's a bit
By
true
far,
lately.
Here's
over
the thing.
80% of all trans people are on
think that-
behavioral
I
medications,
think-
Giuseppe.
Okay, well, you know
Over
what?
80%
I
of all
hope
trans
you could
people
sit
are on
down,
behavioral
come and
medication.
sit down with my trans friends and talk about that. How you
I
think
have
that they
trans
have a
family.
mental disorder?
I have trans family, and we talk about this all the time.
Yeah,
I have trans friends
and so
trans family.
I will. I'll tell them it's a disorder 100%.
So-
I have no problem doing it.
Yeah.
well, I mean, of course you don't.
I don't.
I mean,
because it's a
you're not-
dissociative personality
it's not
disorder.
it's not going to affect. It's what's the intent of it, right? So what I could say is this, because going back to the original thing. So I think parents need to like stop having their phones babysit their kids.
Boom.
And
That's a good.
use
That's
more
I'll never.
very
Yeah.
long. I think we need to
Agreed.
make sure that in school, okay, I think there needs to be more education on civility and on nonviolence and how to have an argument. You know what I mean? Like this is fun. We're sitting here
Oh,
like
yeah.
shooting the shit, right? And I want to go have a beer with you guys. You know,
I might be
And-
fired after.
and we
But
will.
it was fun. I love Paul Calderese show.
But-
People.
Right. I think, and then the other thing I think is we need to stop tolerating disorder. You know,
Yes.
um,
Chaos.
and I know you guys aren't going to like this, but just bear with me. I think we need to have pass common sense gun laws, firearms laws. I think all of those things together. It's a compound solution for a problem.
Okay,
that
so would you be also
it's
willing-
not one size fits all. You know.
Would you also be willing to go after the violent, murderous culture against the majority group of people who voted democratically in this country for a president? Would you say
Well, that's
advocating for their violence, calling them Nazis,
Mhm.
calling them fascists,
Okay.
screaming it's war against them, they must be ended at all
Right.
costs? Saying these things is
Yeah.
wrong.
I mean, I can.
Lying
Here's the thing.
about,
I can.
wait, let me finish. Lying about the
Yeah, you can
assassins that
finish.
take them out and blaming the MAGA people.
I could show.
is
I could
wrong.
show you.
And
Listen. I
okay,
could show
so
you.
but
examples
I
on
don't.
the
I'm not
right as
asking you to show me anything. I'm asking would
I
you
know
agree
you're not.
that should stop? Because you can't even agree that should
Should it
stop,
stop?
and that's what I'm saying. Until
No,
you're
no, what I'm
willing to
saying is
admit
this.
it's a
What I'm saying is
cultural
this, is that-
problem and not a gun problem and not
Right.
a mental health problem,
Mike,
but
let
a
him
cultural
answer.
problem.
But Mike, here's the thing.
Let him answer.
Here's the
Should it
thing.
stop though? Should it
Just
stop
like-
though, Giuseppe?
Well, I'm not going to abridge anyone's right to free speech, but if that's what you're saying, I don't know what that means. That should stop. Should we just not call each other names?
Don't-
Because
I mean,
How
don't-
often
when
do
I
white
remember-
people say
hold
the
on, hold on,
N-word?
hold
How
on,
often do
hold
white
on,
people
hold
say
on.
the N-word on TV, Giuseppe?
hold
How
on,
often do you
hold
hear
on,
the N-word
hold
from
on.
white people on TV?
Hold on,
How
hold
often?
on 1 second. Can you hold on 1 second?
That's what I mean by stop.
Remember,
Let him go.
this is
That's what I
this
mean
is
by
the-
stop.
what's that?
How often do
Well,
you hear
here's the
the
thing, with-
N-word
with-
by
with
white
something like-
people? Don't ask me a question, then
Yeah.
talk. How many
Yeah.
times do you hear the N-word by white people on television, on cable or
Mm.
regular television? How often do you hear white people say the N-word referring
Let's-
to black people? How often, Giuseppe?
Never.
Let me finish. I'm
Not
going
that
somewhere
much.
here. Exactly.
But I don't
Because
understand
we've
what you're trying
decided
to
it's
say.
wrong. Because we've decided. Let me finish then. You said I don't know
Yeah.
what you mean by end it or stop it or stop the culture. That's what I mean. It was a
It was
culture
a culture.
issue. And we decided as a culture, if you say the F word towards gay people, if you say the N word towards black people, if you say the R word towards mentally deficient people, you are not allowed in polite society to play with us because
Well,
we
it's
are
like-
better
it's also-
people
it's
than
also-
Let me finish.
it's
We
al-
are better people
Yeah,
than
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
We are better people
Well, it's like
than that.
saying it's like yelling fire in a crowded theater. There are
That's
things
legal,
that
by the way.
So
that-
so
that-
let me
oh, go.
finish. So
Oh,
accusing
go ahead.
accusing a pro-trans Antifa shooter of being
Right.
MAGA should be something
Right.
that should be shamed by all of us, not just MAGA people,
Uh-huh.
not just Democrats, not just Republicans, but we all go no. In the
Right.
same way that we all go
We
no.
we
I
don't know
any
anything about
Republican
we
other
don't know
than
the
Twitter
motive.
Republicans.
Go ahead.
Mike
Go
said,
ahead, Giuseppe.
even Mike
Answer to
said
that.
we don't know the motives of the shooter. And here's the thing.
Okay, fair.
I think the
I'm
thing
with
that-
you. So if we don't
I
know the
think-
motives of the
Mike,
shooter,
Mike,
which
let
we
him talk.
clearly do.
I think what bothers me about what happened with Jimmy Kimmel, and honestly, I could give a shit about Jimmy Kimmel, right? It's that it seemed, and I could be wrong, it seemed that the FCC was weaponized into pressuring Disney to, to not cancel, but what did they do? They suspended them.
You
I'm
can't
saying
say
that there's a
weaponized
difference
though,
between-
because that's
there's a-
That's
a
not
bad
what I'm saying
word.
is that well, I
Can
mean,
I tell you
again,
what actually happened? Can I tell you what
That's
actually
a
happened?
bad word though. The weaponize is I can't stand that because it's like they weaponize this, they weaponize that.
Okay,
It's-
let's not use weaponize.
FCC.
They
This
use-
shit has been
we
weaponized
use-
against everybody for a long time.
all right,
So
well, don't be a snowflake.
What I think he's trying to say
Instead
is
of
that
using
the FCC
weaponize, let's just say that the government got involved in putting someone
Correct.
out. And then here's
applied
the other
pressure.
thing.
Let's just
But
say
here's the
applied
other part.
pressure. Can we say applied pressure?
here-
Applied pressure.
But here's
The government
go.
and FCC applied pressure.
there was pressure from the Trump administration, right? It goes to
There
show
was
you
not.
that
There was not. That's false.
that
Giuseppe,
super
let me tell you the real story so you
this-
can
this
be
super-
enlightened
well,
on
you're
truth.
interrupting again. You keep
Because you're
interrupting.
just saying
did-
things that aren't true, bro. I know the story you're telling.
I know, but
explain it
that
to
doesn't
you.
give you the right
What
to
you're saying is
interrupt
the
me.
FCC guy
Mikey.
went on, and I know the guy he went on because I watched it live. The FCC chairman
Yes.
went on Benny Johnson's podcast. I watched it live
Right.
when he was on there, and he
Right,
said they
right.
can't keep lying and fomenting a culture of hate
Mhm.
where you just when you
Mhm.
want to do something and prove how down you are, you go shoot a
Mhm.
Republican. You can't do that. We've got to stop that because
No
it's
one
becoming cultural.
advocating for
Let
shooting
me
a Republican.
no, I'm telling you what
Go-
was said. Don't argue with what I'm telling you. He said on his.
I'm not
thing,
arguing.
okay?
I'm telling you
This
that
is what he said. I'm trying to educate you here. That's what he said. Now,
Yeah,
what
yeah.
happened was Jimmy Kimmel was pulled into a meeting and asked to apologize because remember, it was yesterday he was fired. It was Monday he said the statements. Now,
Right.
what happened was, okay, multiple distributors. See, what happens is Disney has a product. That product is called the Jimmy
Mhm.
Kimmel Show. Okay. Then distributors like Gannett, for instance, that has a bunch of TV stations, purchases that product from Disney, right? And that's their choice to purchase products from Disney or whoever they want, right? And they're an affiliate. They have a license through NBC to broadcast with the NBC logo and carry the
Mhm.
NBC stuff. Now, in that case, there are laws and contracts and all kinds of things involved where they get to say, I don't like this product you're carrying. I'm preempting it for a infomercial, for a local show, for a rerun of 8 is enough. It doesn't
He
matter.
was losing money.
I'm not carrying this.
Sure.
I'm not carrying this show. My 500 TV stations will not carry this show. And then another one speaks up and goes, my 500 stations will not carry this show. Disney has lost billions in the past 5 years trying to go woke. They are
So
struggling.
here's the
So
thing.
Bob, let me
Here's the
finish, man.
thing.
So Bob Iger,
Right.
Bob Iger
Keep going.
said, pull
Right.
him. They
Yeah.
had a meeting with him today. Look, I know these people, man. I know people in these meetings, bro. I'm a good source here if you really want to know. And they
Mhm.
said, let's bring Jimmy Kimmel back. This was reported on now, by the way. And they literally had a meeting to try to bring him back. And he was like, screw it. I'm still going to go after MAGA people. It's what I do. If you don't like it, F you. Period. The end.
Okay.
He would not apologize. He would not respect the terms of his
He doubled down on it.
contract.
Mhm.
He doubled
The
down.
end.
So
He has a
Giuseppe, go
contract
ahead,
that
let's
says at any
Look,
time
sounds-
they can fire him for
Sounds
any
like
reason.
go ahead,
sounds
fire
like
away,
when,
Giuseppe.
when folks were going nuts about cancel culture a few years ago, it sounds like the invisible hand of capitalism.
It's
True
yeah,
story,
so no,
and
it's not the invisible hand of
I agree.
capitalism. So I don't
It's
agree.
about
I'll tell you why.
profits.
It's
about
not.
profits. That's all
Yeah,
it
but
is.
it's about
You don't wanna
triggered
lose
ass
market
fucking people
share.
calling up. It's
Yeah.
all it is. It's one group of people canceling the other group of people. So let me go with
Totally.
my solution. This is my solution, and
Yeah.
I like to. I do agree with Mike on this a little bit. I think that there has to be a realization on both sides that their politics has gotten so damn toxic that it is spewing nothing but hate and further division. I think the left seriously has to come to terms with what they have been saying and what their even policy positions are, because they have none. Besides obstruct and stay away from Trump, Mr. Hitler, and all of his people and his parties. They
I
have
think
to
if
stop
you
making it sound like
hold on
MAGAs.
one
Hold
second,
on.
Mike.
Go ahead.
One quick second. I think if you just consume the stuff that you consume on social media and
That's not me.
on
So
cable
don't-
news
don't-
or all that, like
That's not
I
me.
mean, look, there are policy positions that are out there, and most policy positions and most legislation passes and is agreed on by both sides. So, but you don't hear that again.
No, that's most bullshit
the thing is
legislation.
that
That means nothing.
The outrage is what attracts eyeballs, and so that's what the media
No, Mike. No.
is
Giuseppe,
gonna lead with.
Giuseppe, this is
It's like when
again,
newspapers
hold on.
used to say,
Again, this
if
is
it
telling me
bleeds,
where
it
I'm coming
leads,
from.
you know.
No, you're trying to tell me again, like Mike did earlier, where I'm trying to come from. But that's not where I'm coming from at all. I come from a position where I watch all these people and I read all these people and I study
Right.
this. I do this every single day, right? So when I make these things and I see the left's rhetoric over the last 10 years, I could see that
On
that
what?
would incite violence on everything. Once
On
again,
which bill?
what do you mean, which bill?
Which bill?
On everything.
It's anything consequential.
Once
Giuseppe,
again, culture.
The 50% of stuff, the stuff that they vote on and that you say they all agree on, that's all procedural bullshit that they're all in lockstep on. When you
No,
want
it's just
something-
it's not
Yes,
not,
it
it's
is.
not bullshit. It's stuff
It
that's
is
actually
bullshit.
important,
It's
but
the
boring.
no, it's not. There's
It
no
is.
consequence
A lot of it is just
to it. It's
dirty
all
politics,
procedural.
bro.
It's all dirty. It's
I
all
agree
their
with
pork
that.
spending
I
and all their
definitely agree
bull.
with that. Yeah.
That's all that is. Okay. I'm talking about when there's actual policy positions. Okay. Like this. Hey, girls got to stop. Guys got to stop being in girl sports. All of a sudden you become a bigot. You become a Hitler. You become a Nazi. Listen, I tell people, I say it all the time. I was there January 6th. I'm an insurrectionist. And not only that, I'm an evil person just for being there. MAGA means evil. Everything means evil. And when if we can't say that this is wrong on any side, that needs to stop. And I'm going to say it the same way on the left side. I just ripped JD Vance for getting in Charlie Kirk's seat and talking about far left extremists. Are they there? Yes. I don't like the insinuation that everybody on the left is a far left extremist. These things on both sides of the aisle have got to stop, because I was there January 6th. I saw pissed off Republicans. They do exist. The crazy fringe right, crazy ass motherfuckers, they 100% exist on this planet, and they are very well armed. Okay. So yes, when I say that all of that stuff needs to tone it the fuck down, and we have to try to figure out a way to do what me and you are doing, to do what we're doing. And without, you know what? The truth of the matter is, if this kid was a far left extremist leftist, what I hope that happens is that your entire side doesn't play the, well, he has a Republican family game that we've been seeing lately. Doesn't play that horseshit of the you and the, you have to, guys, like Mike said, you have to stop and say, okay, we have got to condemn this shit. This is one of us. We have to own it, and we have to condemn it, because you know what? There's no gun law that would stop that guy. The only thing that would possibly stop that guy is if we didn't have hate politics. And I'm going to give you listen, last word. Let's keep it very short. Last word, Giuseppe.
Sure. So I would say the same thing on the quote unquote the right. You know, never mind the horse shit that the governor of Minnesota appointed some guy to a board, and he happens to be a Republican. He had a hit list of Democratic lawmakers that he was gonna shoot people. So
From Wall.
for me, hold on, I have the floor now.
Yeah.
So
It's my
so
floor.
it goes both ways. I know it's your floor. I'm just renting it.
I know. I'm just messing with you. Go ahead.
So again, like I said, a lot of times our biases are fed a lot of junk food and in terms of content on social media, and that algorithm that's funded by a $1 trillion industry, you're not going to outsmart it. The only real way to do it to outsmart the algorithm is to unplug completely and take a break from social media, which I wish we could do en masse. I wish Mark Zuckerberg could be like a benevolent CEO, like some weird whatever. And he said, you know what? I'm shutting down Facebook and Instagram for 6 months and see what happens.
You know what happened?
But,
I don't think anybody
thing.
would be. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I know. But one last thing. I do want to say this because, again, when you paint everybody with a broad brush when it's really a small percentage of folks, I mean it, because I'll tell you a story. When Charlie Kirk was murdered, you know who was the first group of people that held a candlelight vigil outside calling for peace and nonviolence? Guess.
No idea. I'm gonna lean on you with this.
The crazy, bloodthirsty Red Bank Democrats. Like, you're talking about folks that, some of them are left leaning, some of them are kind of Bernie bro leaning as well. And without any fanfare or anything else, they all went out to the park, one of the parks in Red Bank, 2 hours after it happened, and held a candlelight vigil. And I always remind people that this past week, it's like they didn't do it because of some reaction to something online. They just said, "Oh my God, this is horrible. We've got to show that this is not like this is who we are. That we want peace. That we can argue and argue vociferously too. It doesn't mean that I'm going to put a bullet in your head. No one should fear leaving their house and thinking that they're going to suffer a violent fate
for something that they believe in. Mike, last
Absolutely.
words.
I want to ask a question, but it's not constructive, so I will not. However,
now you have to ask that question.
Next time.
All right.
Giuseppe, this is going to be rhetorical. I want you to think about this for next time, and I want you to observe this on social media. But whatever weird knee-jerk reaction, brain bug they've inserted in all of you that are Democrat and take course on the internet, when you go, what do you mean all of you? That lean left and discord on the internet, have discourse on the internet. Whatever weird brain bug they've put and implanted in you, where whenever somebody says you need to call out the violence on your side, completely dismissing it and going, but no you first, but no you, but your side. And it's like, but here's all the evidence on your side, and can we do? But you guys are bad, and whatever weird brain thing where you can actually call the violence out and hold your own side to account and start to do good within your own party in a way that could make legit change in your culture.
Actually, the only person that didn't call out political violence.
Once again, this is a rhetorical question, bro. You don't have to say anything. It's cool. I'm just saying, whatever that is, observe it and try to figure out how to fix that and come back to me so we can both work on a solution together.
Any person worth their salt and of any kind of respect has clearly called out the political violence, period, full stop, without any buts or other other kind of injections in there. It's literally political violence needs to stop. No one needs to die.
And that was the first thing you said here as well. Beliefs. Yeah, that was the first thing you said here. So listen, this is what I think I'm gonna finalize this all on. And I think one of the things that everybody saw tonight is, you see, like Giuseppe said, when we unplug from social media, maybe it would happen, but I don't think the lies would stop. The lies just keep on going. And there's lies on everybody. And like what you heard tonight, the reaction is, oh, this guy's to the left. Oh, no, he's not. He's from the right. No, he's not. It's a shit slinging party. And what you have is a media feeding the left so they could sling the shit at the people. Another media is feeding the right so that they could sling the shit out of people. And you see it all the time. Like take the Minnesota thing, like everyone wants to say. Everyone takes, if you're on the right, you're going to take a partial truth or you're going to take a truth, but that's only one part of the facts,
Mhm.
and that's what you're going to run with. If you're on the left, oh, he was a Trump supporter and he did that. What happens is all of the facts get missing when you have a media that's taken one part of it and filling in the story, and another media that's taking another part of it and filling in the story. And when people only believe the media that is being told to them, that's when we have problems. And that's something that we really need to stop, because the truth is, yes, the guy was a Republican. No, they were not politically motivated assassinations. If anything, it came from something that Tim Walz motivated this guy to say. That's what he was saying personally. So when you look at this stuff and you go, okay, and then another thing, let me just say really quick. Those people weren't figures. They didn't have death threats going on against them. They weren't in the political limelight. And
Do you know that?
yeah, 100%. Who the fuck were these people? No one even knew these people. No one knew them.
It's really
As a matter of fact, if you really
You may not have known. I may not have known them.
No, she
Giuseppe,
voted
check out
against. She voted
Social
against
Blade.
Democrats that day. She voted
Right.
against Democrats, and she was almost in tears doing it. Right. So when you look at the entire situation, there's a little piece of truth here, a little piece of truth here, but we have to get to all the truth. Listen, we are way over. We're actually 35 minutes over. That was a great conversation. I love it. This is exactly what I wanted. I wanted some fire on a Friday night. I wanted some disagreement. I wanted some different perspective. And honestly, I don't care. Like, if people think that you're going to come on here, we're going to argue, we're going to do our thing. This is a personal. This, to me, we should be able to have some serious, heated discussion, and then not resort to some type of ridiculous, name calling or whatever it is, or fighting or whatever. And I think you guys did a great job of that. Next time we won't talk over each other as much. You know what I'm saying? But hey, it is what it is. I like to thank Mike Hall, obviously my man, Mike Hall. Check him out at PT Pod. He does a great job. He has a lot of different shows, especially Power Sports Time. Check out that show. It is Tuesday nights, dude. We have a great time. We just had our boy Patterson on it. They had some of the coolest ESPN the Ocho fucking games, or whatever you want to call it, games, sports. It's fucking awesome. Check him out.
Lawnmower
PT Pod everywhere.
Crash Derby. Yeah. Lawnmower Crash Derby.
Lawnmower
Ultimate
Crash Derby was
It was fun.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
What?
I
I gotta
Giuseppe,
check that
I'll
out.
do-
Yeah, this show.
I-
I'm gonna check it out.
I do a completely anti-politics show where we just cover wacky sports, from slap fights to coffin wars to riding lawnmower
tire
derbies to
wrestling.
you name it, just all the silly sports in the world. It's a complete no politics zone. So,
I love-
people can come on and have fun and watch clips of some
I'm-
sports.
I'm starting a podcast with a friend of mine that only talks about TV shows and sitcoms from the 1980s, and that's it.
Beautiful.
We analyze every single one, each episode. That's what we're gonna do.
Well, Giuseppe, if you need help getting going and promoting it in any way, man, really
Yeah, let
appreciate
us
being
know.
on the show. Giuseppe Grillo. Do you know the name of the show yet, or what?
Not yet.
Not yet. All right. Well, so
You'll be
you
the
do-
first one to know.
Yeah, please
I
let
love
me know, because
Paxton,
I
by
will
the
definitely promote it for you. Listen, man, one of the things I respect about you is when I reached out to you, you came on and you said, without even knowing me, that you would come on. You were one of the people, I think, that gives the left. I think you're a shining example of what the left is, and you might be the one that I'm talking about when I say I don't think every one of you are horrible. You're clearly an example, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, Giuseppe. I hope you are the leftist or the Democrat representation, right? Because I think if more people see this and they think that the right is Mike and me, or however you want to say it, and the left is you, I think that image of the left and right is a good image that everybody can live with, instead of the horseshit images that we've been dealing with. Listen, I say this all the time, guys. You can be a caltrop too. The only way you could do it is if you get your head out of your ass, you listen to conversations like this, and you know what? You may be both sides, but when you get sucked up into the media bullshit of they're feeding you lies, like Giuseppe says, and you get the social media and you get fed your own biases, you're not a caltrop in your own mind. You're not your own defense mechanism. You have to be your own defense mechanism. Realize when you're obsessed with something, they just keep feeding it to you and feeding it to you, and you think that is everything. You think that because that's all you see, that's all what the world is. Put your phone down every once in a while, pick it up, talk to somebody, talk to anybody, talk to somebody that's different than you.
Talk to your kids.
Talk to your kids. Talk to your fucking kids. That's a great point. Thank you guys very much, Giuseppe, Mike, everybody in the chat. I know I neglected you tonight, but listen, we had people talking. There wasn't enough room to get you in there, but I appreciate you too. Share this. Really love you guys. Have a great weekend. I will see you bright and early or bright and late at 8 p.m. Monday night. This Caltrop and Giuseppe and Mike are out. Later.